right, so I do want to talk about just current events, things that have changed, things that haven't changed. Last week we talked about finally under contract with my land, and nothing has changed. So it was not a cash deal. It was not closing in 1 week. I did not know that. So they're telling us 4 weeks for closing, which, whatever. I mean, I guess that's kind of normal for a loan situation. But so yeah, we're now expecting another 3 weeks from today for closing, which, whatever. It is what it is. I spoke to my realtor about, everything regarding this, and she said that they're super interested. This is exactly what they wanted. So it's not like, a situation where they might just back out because, we changed our mind, At this point, I think the only thing that could possibly delay or completely ruin this deal is most financing companies require an appraisal, and if the appraisal comes back and they say, well, it's not worth what they're asking, then the bank won't loan the money on it, then that might be an issue. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to be an issue, and I think, honestly, at this point, we probably would have already heard something, because I would expect that they're trying to get the ball rolling here. It's 2 more weeks for closing, not 1, not 3. So yeah. Anyway, that's that. Still waiting to hear on that. Still waiting for whatever on that. I do want to talk about my CyberTruck. So I had mentioned that I wanted to move that back to the unlimited supercharging thing that I have, and I did do that. I have been unlimited supercharging. I drove it to Tennessee and went to this cheesecake place. I've been traveling a little bit, not a lot, and free supercharging, no issues, working great, love it. I went back on the idea of potentially listing the truck, and I'm at this point, I don't care if it sells or not. That's not really where I'm at. If it sells and I can get what I'm asking, great. And if it doesn't sell, great. I don't really care. It's not a big concern for me. But I listed it for 85, and I thought, 85 is on the high side. But if someone comes up and offers, 82, I'd probably take it. At this point, I'd probably take 80, just because I know that the value will continue to tank the longer I have it. So, yeah, that's just where we are. So I had a guy message me. He was interested in the truck. We talked about 85, and I mentioned the whole free supercharging deal that I've got, and told him, I can help him transfer that to him. If he wants to go that route, we can do that. And that was kind of like a huge selling point for him. He was really interested at that point. So I was like, yeah, whenever you're ready, we'll do it. It's not a big deal. So yeah, I haven't heard from him. It's been about 2 weeks since we had that conversation, and I was just kind of sticking that in my back pocket, holding on to it. If he came back, great. If not, great. I don't really care either way at this point. So I do have it listed, just trying to kind of get an idea what I can get for it. Like I say, 80 to 82 is kind of where I was at. Wanted 82, but I'd probably take 80 just because I do have other plans. I do have other things I want to do. Well, I sent an email off last week to the Ford dealer, the one that I ordered my last Super Duty through, and I just told him, this is my plan. Trying to sell the Cybertruck so that I can place the order on the Super Duty. That's the plan. Not really getting the offers that I thought I would get. I told them originally that I was trying to do the buyback, and that didn't really go anywhere either. So that, it's all just been one big dead end everywhere we go. So I told the guy, I was like, I know you guys don't like electrics. You don't want to sit on an electric for any amount of time. But would you consider selling it for me? You know, I'll bring it down there. I'll put it on your lot. I'll own it the whole time. So you're not out any risk. You're not out any money holding it. And if you find a buyer at 82 or whatever, plus your markup, we'll do the deal and just call it a day. And he texted me back. It took about a week, but he texted me back and said that they're just going to buy it and they can give me 80 for it. And I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, that would work. So he said that as long as it didn't need new tires, they could do 80. And I'm thinking, well, I wonder what they're going to try to knock off for it needing new tires, because it is going to need new tires. I figure if they do 79, I'd be happy, just because, you know, tires are about $1,000. And if not, then I'm going to go find the cheapest set of tires I can possibly find and put them on it. That's what I'm going to do. So I go Wednesday to take them the truck, let them look at it, confirm that they can do 80 or whatever if it needs tires. The benefit here with going with the dealer versus just selling it to someone for 80 or 82, the dealer offers, you know, there's a trade-in tax credit. It's not by the dealer, it's by the state. So I trade the truck in for 80, and then I get $2,400 tax credit off of my trading, you know, because I'm trading in. So you end up saving in the long run by doing that. You're gaining an extra $2,400 just by trading it versus selling it, which is a huge benefit. So it's almost like I'd be getting 82.4 for the truck, and that's actually currently the highest offer. I know Tesla had offered 83, but that's long gone out the window. Tesla's now at 76, because I have been checking it just to see what they would go with. And so 82.4 to order the dually with, I think that's a pretty good deal. So yeah, I'm going to go Wednesday, take it to them, let them look it over. If we make a deal, it'll probably be sold Wednesday. And then I'm going to be driving this Model Y until my Super Duty comes in. I have not even ordered the Super Duty yet. But we will place that order Wednesday, most likely. And then last time I ordered one, it took 3 months. And then it was here, and then we, good to go. So really hoping for less than 3 months at this point, but we'll see. There is also me being, the way I am and unable to decide on anything. There are also some options here that I'm strongly considering. I'll go ahead and get it out of the way. I'm not going to order the same color that I had last. My first Super Duty, I don't remember what the color was, but it was a bright blue and I really liked it. And they didn't have it anymore when I ordered my second Super Duty, so I went with silver, gray, I don't know, some sort of gray, but it looks blue in the sun kind of thing. I like that color, and I was really considering ordering that color again, but now Ford has come out with a new darker blue that I really like. I understand that's probably going to show scratches a lot easier, and it's probably not going to, be my favorite color in the end, but right now I like it. And every car I've always liked has always been like a darker blue. And I think I'll live with it because I like darker blue. So anyway, so that we're going with that on the color, and this color is actually cheaper than I feel like it's called Glacier Gray is what I had the last truck in. Glacier Gray is $1,000 option, and this new, I think it's called Argon Blue, is like $400. So definitely a savings there, which will be nice. There was something else I was going to change. I was going to add Sirius XM to it. So they're doing like a 3-year package. I don't think I have to add that to the build. I think I can do that at the time of purchase, but I was just kind of making a mental note of that because I want to let them know. I want to go ahead and add that because it breaks down to like $8 a month for Sirius XM for 3 years. And I get that I could call Sirius XM and get it for $5, but then I'd have to cancel it at the end of the year and then bargain with them twice to get 3 years out of it. A headache that's not needed. I could pay the $8 and just have it 3 years on the truck. I'm also doing the connectivity package, which that didn't change. I was doing that before, but they're saying 7 years of connectivity, but then they're saying it's like lifetime. They only expect connectivity to last 7 years before we're fully off of 5G onto the next thing. I don't know about all that, but anyway. So yeah, that's the for sures. Now the not for sures, the I have no clues. My original thought was F350 dually, 355 rear axle, all the things that I want. And that's what I had last time. I liked it. It was everything I wanted. And that was the plan this time. The truck that I built and had priced out and was everything I was going to want was that. And now that it gets closer time to order it, I'm questioning whether that's the answer, whether that's the way we do it. One of my biggest complaints about F450 was the lack of TPMS, and now the F450s come with TPMS. Another big factor was the 430 gear ratio, which I'm not big on, and it still has that. So that is a definite con in this situation. I have to. Why are we not? Okay, start to say it wasn't even starting to exit here, but it is. So yeah. But if really the only cons the 450 hold are more expensive tires and bigger axle ratio, it may be worth it. Now, I understand that also the 450 has a lower payload capacity because it is heavier built, bigger, stronger, beefier. So, it weighs more and therefore it can tow less or haul less. So, maybe that's one to consider. The main thing that's got me wanting to do 450 is, now it has TPMS. That was one of my main concerns. But also now it has, sorry, I'm looking because the car's fixed to make a blind left here. And anyway, the other thing that I really like about it is that turning, sharp turning radius. It's not new. I said that wrong, but the sharp turning radius, is kind of a big selling point for the 450. It makes it a more manageable daily driver than a 350. It's not a big deal, but when I pull in my driveway, I have to make a 180 turn to pull up into my parking spot, and I can't make that turn in the 350. I have to pull up as far as I can, back up, and then continue pulling forward every single time. That's the only way I can get into my house. In a 450, I have no doubt that it can make that turn first try, no backing up, no problem. Would the benefit of that outweigh the gear ratio? Because that's really my main concern. I'm not as worried about tires. Tires are expensive any way you go, and I think it was something like $400 or $600 more for the commercial tires than it is, whatever. But at this point, I could go buy wheels and tires and put 20s on it and get something a little bit more cheaper if I really wanted to. That's just up in the air. So, and then obviously third option on all this, I could get a single rear wheel F350. I'm kind of leaning away from that though. I know that, driving it empty, daily driving it, dual rear wheels, most pointless thing you could possibly have. But I am going to want that stability if I ever do move forward with the camper idea or just towing anything at this point. Having that dual rear wheel adds massive stability, especially in the wind, and I'm going to want that. So really, I think at this point it's 350 dual rear wheel or 450, which 450 only comes in dual rear wheel, so that's the only option. But I don't know. I've still never test driven a 450, and I feel like if I did that, I'd probably like it, and I would just go ahead and do it. But you know, I don't know. Part of me feels like I'm missing out by ordering the 350 versus the 450, but at the same time, maybe not. Maybe it's a better, maybe it is the better choice, and I've just, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I will probably try to test drive one. Maybe we'll see if they have one down there on Friday or Wednesday when I go, and just see. If they have one, I'll drive it. It won't be the one I'm going to take because I'm still going to custom order mine the way I want it. But yeah. Anyway, that's the update of what's going on around here. Closing in 2 weeks, and you know, the plan is to pay off my debts, take some leftover, put it toward this truck, trade in my CyberTruck, have a fully paid for Super Duty, and yeah. And who knows? You know, I've still got that tax refund that the government owes me that I've never gotten. 3 years and counting. So I might put that toward the camper idea. I don't know. We'll see. We're not even on V14 and it just found a parking spot. What's up with that? That's a very poor parking spot because you're not even straight and you didn't pull all the way up. But yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna go get my food, and that's what's up. That's what's happening lately. By the way, one of the best Mexican restaurants in the world. Debatable, but you know. All right. So anyway, just to sum up here, because I don't know, I felt like I wasn't done for some reason. Main comparison is 450 versus 350 dual rear wheel. I don't know. I feel like 350 is probably where it's at. I mean, there were so many things, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch my own video because there were so many things I had, pros and cons, why the 350 beat out the 450 every time. I know that TPMS was one of them, and that gear ratio was another, but TPMS being one less thing to have to think about kind of, you know, has me thinking now. Other potential things, my first 350 had a 3-inch hitch, and that was because I had done a lower gear ratio. And in my second 350, I went with a higher gear ratio. I may be saying that wrong. Maybe it was lower. I don't know. And that ended up putting me in a 2.5-inch hitch. So I ended up selling the 3-inch, you know, everything that I had, and went and bought a 2.5-inch, and I've still got that. If I go 450, it goes back to a 3-inch hitch, and I'm going to have to go replace everything to have a conventional hitch. So there's that. I don't think that really matters. I mean, we're talking maybe $200 at this point. Sucks, but you know, it ain't the end of the world. So yeah, I don't know. I think they both have their pros and cons, their strengths and weaknesses. I don't think it'd be that big of a deal to go 450 at this point. And I think that, you know, the one few things that concern me, the gear ratio is not really something you can do anything about, but the tires being bigger, commercial grade tires, like I say, I could replace those. I could do something else. Maybe put 18-inch or 19-inch wheels, or maybe go 20s, you know, and make it look a little nicer, a little less like a work truck, and you know, come out better on the tires. My main concern was I want to be able to get tires anywhere. I don't want to have to go to a commercial tire store to get tires. And I am happy to say that Discount Tire now carries those tires. So it's not like it would be the hardest thing in the world to find. They are a little more expensive, but I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world. So there's that. So, I don't know. We'll talk more about this in the future. I have to make a decision by Wednesday because I'm going to go see about selling my truck and doing that. So we'll see. I'll let you know. I'll let you know what ends up happening.